please consider subscribing to the channel. I post 2 times a week, on Monday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I recommend using headphones if you would like to hear the gentle mic brushing. Okay, so let's get right into tonight's video. You may be aware that I posted a poll on my community tab last week asking if you guys wanted me to make a video on the Titan submersible. And over 75% of you guys said yes. And there were also a lot of comments, and there were clearly people who felt that I should not make the video for various reasons, which are all very understandable. But I decided to go ahead and make the video, but to also make this video about another shipwreck which happened off the coast of Greece, which many people never heard about, whereas almost everyone who's been listening to any kind of media has heard of the Titan. So I'm going to cover both, even though it is a mammoth undertaking, but I am doing it. Okay, so now you do not have to listen to both cases, it's up to you. And once again, this is not really a crime. There is some criminal aspect mixed in somewhere here. You'll hear it as it comes, but it's not really a crime. More of just, tragedy or tragedies. Okay. For this case, I'm not going to give a shout out to any one place in particular because these events occurred in international waters, and there are people of many different nationalities involved from many different places. So instead, I am going to give a shout out to everyone today. Now, both of these tragedies occurred around the same time in June of 2023. So I'm going to start with the Adriana. Okay, so for some background, poor conditions in Libya and the neighboring countries has led to a large human smuggling business. And this has turned Libya into a hub for moving migrants and refugees across the Mediterranean Sea and into Europe. Human smugglers crowd migrants onto unsafe ships, and many of the people are often locked below deck for days. Now keep in mind, the migrants, the refugees, these are people who are seeking a better life for themselves and their families. They are aware that they are facing a grave danger in getting onto these ships, but they do it in hopes of a better this sort of thing, so don't be upset if I use the wrong word. Okay? So, it is named the Adriana. It left from Libya on June 10th. It was carrying up to 750 Pakistani, Syrian, Egyptian, and Palestinian refugees and migrants. So we say up to 750 because nobody knows the real number except maybe the smugglers, right? This amount of people was way beyond the capacity of this boat. The International Organization for Migration estimated that there were about 400 people on board, but the deputy mayor of the Greek port city of Kalamata stated that there were over 500. So it was a fishing boat and was said to be around 66 to 98 feet long, and it was headed to Italy. Now, so it left on June 10th, okay? On June 13th, so 3 days later, they've been on the ocean in this overcrowded vessel for 3 days. So, the Italian Coast Guard alerted Greek authorities and the EU border protection agency called Frontex. So they were alerted of an oncoming vessel in distress. The Greek Coast Guard said that Frontex aircraft and 2 merchant ships detected the vehicle approaching north at high speeds, prompting the dispatch of more aircraft and vehicles. Offers of aid were made to the ship, but it was said that they refused the aid. They wanted to go on and make it to Italy. In the afternoon of that same day, one of the merchant ships approached the Adriana and offered it assistance. The passengers refused it. Another merchant ship later did the same and received the same response. A Greek Coast Guard patrol approached the deck of the vessel in the evening, where they confirmed the presence of a large number of migrants. The migrants again refused any aid, stating that they wished to continue on to Italy. So I assume the aid would have been to take them off the ship, and then they wouldn't make it to Italy. In all 3 instances, the migrants stated that they wanted food and water, which the Greek patrol ship and a Maltese-flagged merchant ship reported. So it was said that they had run out of food and water, people were passing out, just the conditions were deplorable. At around 1:40 a.m. on June 14th, the Greek Coast Guard learned that the Adriana's engine had broken down. So now there they are, stranded in the middle of the ocean. Broken down, they are not going anywhere at that point, right? After receiving a plea for aid, Coast Guard officers then approached the ship. So at that point they're saying, yes, we want help. So the Coast Guard stated that they, quote, saw the boat take a right turn, then a sharp left, and then another right, so big that it caused the vessel to capsize, end quote. About 10 to 15 minutes later, the Adriana sank, sending its passengers into the Ionian Sea. The ship sank around 50 miles off the coast of Pylos, Messenia, in the Peloponnese, in an area around 13 to 17,000 feet deep. The Greek Coast Guard reported that no one on board was which contradicted the Greek Coast Guard's account of the incident, saying that the boat had not moved for at least 7 hours before sinking. So that means that they were sitting still for 7 hours with a broken engine. So we don't know what's true and what's false, right? Immediately following the sinking, the Greek Coast Guard and the military initiated a massive search and rescue operation. Survivors were transferred to Kalamata after rescuing 104 survivors, so that's it. 104 people survived out of up to 750, but we don't know how many, right? So after rescuing 104 survivors, the Greek authorities stated that they expected to find no more, still leaving hundreds missing. The Mayan Queen 4, a luxury super yacht, was notified by the Coast Guard to transport 100 of the 104 rescued survivors. I don't know what happened to the other 4 people. As well as recovered bodies to Kalamata. The survivors, the majority of whom are men, reported that the smugglers kept the women and children locked in the hold. Based on survivor accounts, it is believed that up to 100 children were being held at the time of the sinking. According to leaked testimonies told by survivors, Pakistanis were allegedly forced below deck, with other nationalities allowed on the top deck, where they had a far greater chance of surviving a capsize. Pakistan's Federal Investigation Agency has stated that 12 of the survivors are Pakistani. That's not very many. And that 209 are amongst those still missing. So there are 209 Pakistani people who are missing and presumed dead. At least 80 passengers of the Adriana have been confirmed dead, making it the deadliest shipwreck in 2023 in the Mediterranean Sea. Greek police said they are working on the assumption that as many as 500 people were missing. So imagine you have this boat with up to 750 people, and I don't know, half of them are locked in the bottom part of the boat. That's all the women and children. And most of the Pakistanis are all in that underneath part where they have no chance of surviving. I mean, how would they? They couldn't survive if it was locked. Horrible. Survivors of the shipwreck have stated that a Greek Coast Guard vessel caused the fishing boat to capsize by attempting to tow it. One survivor from Syria described how a Greek Coast Guard vessel approached the boat multiple times to try to attach a rope to tow the ship, with disastrous results. Quote, "The third time they towed us, the boat swayed to the right and everyone was screaming. People began falling into the sea and the boat capsized and no one saw anyone anymore. Brothers were separated, cousins were separated," end quote. So he is saying that the authorities attempted to tow the boat, causing it to capsize. Another survivor stated, quote, "The Greek captain pulled us too fast. It was extremely fast. This caused our boat to sink," end quote. But the Hellenic Coast Guard has denied attempting to tow the vessel. So who's telling the truth? Coast Guard stated, quote, "When the capsized. We were not even next to the boat. How could we be towing it?" End quote. He stated that they had only been, quote, "observing at a close distance," and that a shift in weight, probably caused by panic, had caused the boat to tip. So either they towed it or they didn't. I mean, there's no, like, that's not a vague situation, like either you towed it or you didn't tow it. Which one is it? Human rights groups say the authorities had a duty to act to save lives, regardless of what people on board were saying to the Coast Guard before the migrant boat capsized. So they're saying that if the authorities noticed that this boat was in major distress, even though the people on there might have been saying, "No, leave us alone, we're okay. Just get us some food and water, we're okay," that the authorities should have insisted on basically rescuing them off of that boat because it was not safe. That's what human rights groups are saying. On June 16th, the Greek authorities had arrested 9 suspects, all Egyptian men, believed to have been responsible for the people smuggling. Also, Pakistani authorities arrested 10 suspected traffickers. On June 19th, the 9 Egyptian men accused of human smuggling appeared in a Greek court and pleaded not guilty. They will also face charges of murder. The administration in Athens announced 3 days of national mourning due to the large death toll of Pakistanis. The Pakistani Prime Minister declared a day of mourning on June 19th. The Pakistani newspaper, Dawn, is the name of it, wrote an editorial stating that, quote, "racist laws and anti-migration policies, which aim to prevent migrants from entering safely and legally, are to blame for the deaths of thousands of refugees." So that is what I have on that case, and I will discuss it a little more at the very end. Okay, now let's get to the Titan submersible incident. Now, I don't know about all of you guys, but I never even heard the word submersible before this. Okay, so now it is a word that we all have learned, and there has been non-stop coverage of this case since it started. We have been completely inundated with reports from every which way on this incident. Yes, it is a major tragedy, no doubt. But isn't it something how we've heard almost nothing about the Adriana? But let's get into this one. So, Oceangate is a private company based in Washington State, and it organizes expeditions that can last up to 9 days to travel to shipwrecks and underwater canyons. Stockton Rush, who is an aerospace engineer and pilot, co-founded the company in 2009. Oceangate called the Titan the only crewed submersible in the world that can take 5 people deeper than 13,000 feet below the surface of the ocean. So this Titan is not the only submersible. Okay, there are others. This is just one submersible. But he is claiming that this one can go deeper than any other. The company has taken people on tours of the Titanic since 2021, and guests have paid $250,000 life forms whiz by the viewport as you sink deeper and deeper into the ocean. The descent takes approximately 2 hours, but it feels like the blink of an eye. Once on deck, you will be welcomed back by the expedition crew and be able to share the story of your incredible accomplishment, end quote. In 2018, leaders in the submersible industry were so worried about what they called the experimental approach of Oceangate that more than 36 of them signed a letter to the company warning of potentially catastrophic problems with the submersible. That same year, an employee of Oceangate raised safety concerns about the Titan. He wrote that he learned the viewport on the sub was only built to certified pressure of 1,300 meters, even though the Titan intended to go down to 4,000 meters in depth. He urged Oceangate to use an agency such as the American Bureau of Shipping to inspect and certify the Titan. He said, quote, Oceangate refused to pay for the manufacturer to build a viewport that would meet the required depth of 4,000 meters. He claimed that rather than addressing his concerns or using a standard classification agency to inspect the Titan, they just fired him immediately. And he had aired his complaints to government regulators, and because of that, they also sued him for breach of contract. But he countersued, and he aired his concerns about the Titan's safety, claiming that he believed the company could, quote, subject passengers to potential extreme danger in an experimental submersible, end quote. Stockton Rush discussed the Titan in a November 2022 episode of CBS journalist David Pogue's Unsung Science podcast. Pogue said that the sub's build, which includes, quote, MacGyvered ceiling lights and an Xbox controller for navigating the vessel, as well as the safety waiver, gave him cause for concern. minutes after starting its descent. 3 o'clock, the submersible is scheduled to return to the surface, but it does not return. At 5:40, the Coast Guard receives a report about an overdue submersible from the Canadian research vessel Polar Prince, with 5 people on board diving to view the Titanic, about 900 nautical miles east of Cape Cod on the U.S. coast. Searchers begin to scour the sea. So the next morning, June 19th, it's a Monday, officials say that if the submersible is still intact, it is estimated to have between 70 and 96 hours of oxygen left. So that's when we're all hearing it and we're all freaking out, thinking, okay, the search is on. You're searching against the clock to find these people before their air runs out, right? And we're all imagining these people trapped on this little tiny vehicle, afraid, uncomfortable, panicking. So the U.S. Coast Guard, Canadian authorities, and commercial vessels searched for the Titan. The next day, Tuesday, the 20th, media reports say that a Canadian aircraft detected banging sounds at 30-minute intervals, but it turned out that they didn't have any relation to the submersible's wreckage. The search becomes a big international effort over the next couple of days. Canadian and French remotely operated vehicles, or ROVs, searched the seafloor. The U.S. Navy sent a machine that can help recover heavy objects from the sea. Sonar was used to try to locate the submersible underwater. Aircrafts from the U.S. and Canada, along with vessels, also scanned the ocean surface. On Thursday, June 22nd at 6 a.m., that was the rough deadline for when the oxygen was supposed to have ran out. So at that point, we're all thinking, they have no more air. This is horrible. We're in our heads, we're all like panicking for them. At 2 p.m., a debris field that was found near the wreckage of the Titanic in the North Atlantic contains the pieces of the Titan submersible. So at that point, it's confirmed. The thing is no longer intact. At 3 p.m., Admiral Mauger, I don't know how to pronounce it, Mauger, from the U.S. Coast Guard said that a debris field found on the surface led to the discovery of the Titan's tail cone and other pieces on the ocean floor on the morning of June 22nd. It was discovered about 1,600 feet from the bow of the Titanic. He said the discovery was consistent with a, quote, catastrophic loss of the pressure chamber in the submersible, he said, adding that it was too early to tell when the vessel imploded and that investigators were working on a timeline of events. When he was asked about the prospect of recovering the remains of the victims, he said, quote, this is an incredibly unforgiving environment down there on the seafloor. On behalf of the United States Coast Guard and the entire Unified Command, I offer my deepest condolences to the family, end quote. It is believed that the passengers would have died instantly at the time of the implosion, and people are saying that they would not have felt pain. So who were the people in the Titan? Well, there was Hamish Harding, 58 years years old, the chairman of Action Aviation, an aviation sales and consulting company. Retired NASA astronaut Terry Virts described him as an explorer by nature. Harding broke the Guinness World Records for the fastest flight around both the Earth's poles in 2019, in which Virts was a crew member. Harding has additionally broken Guinness World Records for the longest duration at a full ocean depth by a crewed vessel and the longest distance traveled along the deepest part of the ocean. Then there was Shahzada Dawood, age 48. He was the vice chairman of Engro, a Pakistani energy investment company, and the Dawood Hercules Corp, an investment and holdings firm. He had expertise in mergers and acquisitions in companies across industries such as textiles, fertilizers, foods, and energy. He served on various boards, including the SETI Institute, a NASA-funded nonprofit dedicated to extraterrestrial research, and Prince Charles's charity, Prince's Trust International. He had obtained an undergraduate law degree from Buckingham University in the UK and a Master's of Science in Global Textile Marketing from Philadelphia University, now known as Thomas Jefferson University. Then there was his son, Suleiman Dawood, 19 years old. He had recently completed his first year as a business major at the University of Strathclyde in Glasgow, Scotland. According to his aunt, he was actually scared to go on this trip, but was doing it as sort of a Father's Day gift to his father. Then there was Paul Henri Nargiolet. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. He was 77 years old and was known as Mr. Titanic for his expertise of the ship. He spent 22 years in the French Navy, where he was eventually ranked commander. He retired from the Navy in 1986 and oversaw 2 deep-sea submersibles at the French Institute for Research and Exploitation of the Sea. While there, especially after learning that a senior Navy official has confirmed that an acoustic listening system detected such sounds on Sunday afternoon. So there were sounds of a possible implosion that were detected on Sunday, shortly after the Titan began its voyage. The international search effort continued because authorities did not consider the information to be definitive. So they felt that it was probable. From what I heard, they felt it was probable that it had imploded based on that sound, but that's not 100%. And if there is a chance that there are humans still alive in the water like that, you have to do all you can to try to find them. So, Cameron told ABC News that he believes the Titan's hull began to crack under pressure and that its inside sensors gave the passengers a warning to that effect. Quote, "We understand from inside the community that they had dropped their ascent weights and were coming up trying to manage an emergency," end quote, he said. So he's saying that they must have been aware that something was going wrong and they were headed back up to the surface. That's what Cameron said. Cameron and many others in the deep submergence community had long been concerned about the safety of the Titan and Oceangate's experimental approach. He said that the company had ignored experts' calls to undergo a standard certification process. Quote, "I'm struck by the similarity of the Titanic disaster itself, where the captain was repeatedly warned about ice ahead of his ship, and yet he steamed up full speed into an ice field on a moonless night, and many people died as a result. And for a very similar tragedy, where warnings went unheeded to take place at the same exact site, with all the diving that's going on all around the world, I think it's just astonishing. It's really quite surreal. Now there's one wreck lying next to the other wreck for the same damn reason," end quote. Cameron stressed that deep submergence diving is a, quote, "mature art," with very few accidents when it began in the 1960s, and an even better safety record now, thanks in large part to the certification protocols that almost all such vehicles follow, except this one. Cameron said it was difficult to watch the frantic search play out over the next few days, knowing it was futile, but hoping he was wrong. He especially feels for the families who had to go through it. And that is it. What are your thoughts? I will tell you some of mine. First of all, my heart goes out to all of the people who have been lost from both vessels. My feeling is that every life is equal and no one deserved what happened to them. So the big question is, why is it that you have these two cases, both shipwrecks, so to speak? And in one case you have 5 people who have gone missing and ultimately died, and that received an unbelievable amount of attention. And then you have this other shipwreck with potentially 750 people who were on it and hundreds of people who died. And why is it that we've hardly heard anything about it? So why is that? Well, there are a number of ways to look at it, and I'm not going to say what my answer is because I'm not really sure, okay? about what happens to refugees. And that is a very, very sad thing to hear. Because these were human beings leaving horrible conditions, trying to get a better life. And people are saying no one cares about them. And they're saying that people care about these 5 billionaires. That's very interesting. Let's throw a lot of money at that. But then again, you have people who are hating on these billionaires just for being billionaires and saying, well, they signed up for it. They knew what they were getting into. So, I don't feel bad for them. But I don't look at it like that at all. Trust me, that I will admit. Just because they were billionaires, to me, doesn't make me dislike them just for being a billionaire. Whoever said they were bad people, I didn't hear that anywhere. Perhaps people are thinking, why did they take $250,000 and spend it like this instead of sending that money to charity? Well, is that our business how they spend their money? Number one. And who's to say that they didn't use other money for charitable purposes? We don't know that. But of course, it is a very political issue. And I'm not even going to begin to talk about immigration policies or any of that because we don't have time for it, and I'm not an expert, certainly not in European immigration policies or even American ones. So we're not going to talk about that, but I'm sure there could be a huge discussion on that topic. But then another thing is, these situations were very similar but yet very different, right? Because you have the Titan, which it went missing, and over the course of the next few days there was a search, and there was an assumption that they could still be alive. And we were racing against the clock to try to find them. Whereas in the other situation, these people had surely, those who were not found right away, those who were still missing, had to be presumed dead already. There was no extensive, search over the next few days with the hope of finding survivors, so it is different in that way, And some people are feeling that the truth was hidden from us regarding the Titan because there wasn't much said about that sound that they picked up of the possible implosion. And we were kind of led to believe that these people were still sitting in the vessel over these days, But in truth, they were going to search for them because there was still some chance that it had not imploded. The sound was not definitive, as they said. So, why? So did they have to come out and tell the public everything? Is that a requirement? Is it a conspiracy? I don't think so. But that's just me. Why not let the public have a glimmer of hope, at least for a little while, that a rescue was possible? Is that so wrong? What do you think? And then people are saying, who's going to pay for this search? It was a very, very expensive search. So who should pay for it? Should the billionaires who are on this trip, should they pay for it? Well, no, because they paid their money to Oceangate to go on this trip. Okay, so it's not their fault that this happened. Should Oceangate pay for it? Probably they should, but I believe that will probably have to go to court. And I don't know how much money the company will have, especially after all of this, to pay for the search. I don't know. to seeing you in the next video.